person's life is determined by the way they live and the choices they make. Choosing a life career is one of the significant choices one can make for a fulfilled life. Many have chosen careers that have had repercussions on their lives. Your career can determine your future. Being endowed with a talent or equipped with a skill and the right attitude in applying them in life could be a gold mine for everybody. This is the reason why technical and vocational education and training, TVET, or in general skills acquisition can become a necessary option to consider. TVET has been at the blind side of many youth. The few who have taken the bold step to consider TVET as a career option have not regretted today. They are considered as top entrepreneurs and CEOs of their companies and making meaningful contributions to the economy of Ghana. Mrs. Patricia Bosu attended a technical school where she studied electrical. She was adjudged the national best teacher in 2012. According to her, she pursued technical education because it is her passion. We have able to put their creativity to work and design some electronic gadgets that can help solve some problems in society.
This is a light dependent switch, and there's nobody at home. You can just install it. In the evening, the light, you have the lights all around. Then by morning, it goes off by itself. So it's also a security switch, so to speak.
One major issue of concern is the low enrollment of females in technical and vocational institutions. Benedicta Akwete is a student of Tema Industrial Mission Vocational Technical Institute. She's studying electrical engineering. She explains why she opted for TVET.
The reason why I chose this course was when
she has been able to overcome the challenge of working in a male-dominated industry. Elizabeth Swanika is encouraging more girls to go into technical and vocational education and training.
I would encourage a lot more girls to
is now the CEO of Horseman Shoes.
I started Horseman Shoes by buying from a local manufacturer here in Accra in 2009. He did for me a pair of shoes. I took it to work and everybody wanted it. They even disbelieved that it was made in Ghana. So then I got the idea that, well, it didn't matter to the Ghanaian where the shoes were coming from, provided they were made to their taste.
For him, technical education is the key to reducing the unemployment problem in the country, and so Horseman Shoes has provided a lot of employment for young people.
I read sociology from the University of Ghana.
Education and training to do us that honor. Reverend, you are welcome to give the opening prayer.
Unto you be all the glory in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
We thank you and we bless you for this opportunity that you've given to us. We thank you for the gift of life that you have given unto us this day. As we are gathered before your feet, O Lord our God, we invite you into our midst. We are praying that, my God, throughout this program, you will enhance our understanding of TVET, O God. You will broaden our knowledge over the subject matter. Help us to be able to acquire more knowledge, O God, to be able to influence our generation and the generations beyond. We thank you and we bless you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend. And everything here shows that indeed TVET is the order of the day. So we would want to know who is here, because we want to be proud that we have these people coming to this public forum today, and we want to know ourselves so that we can engage more effectively and better. My name is Linda Ejane. I work with the Vocational Training for Females program, an advocate of TVET, working together with the different associations for some years now so that we can uplift the image of TVET in Ghana. So please, we'll start from here.
Samuel Vidiaka. I'm a secretary supervisor of Gyampo, South.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, my name is David Gyampo, a technical teacher of Gyampo district.
My name is Dr. Benadefa from Kumasi Technical University. I'm a head of department and I just saw the poster and just jumped in.
Wow, that's great. Thank you.
I'm Gabriel Jelfi, the original TVET coordinator, Ashanti.
I'm Daniel Amon, Ghana National Association for Vocational and Technical Institutions, National Secretary, and also the regional coordinator for ISIS, Ashanti. Thank you.
Anthony Osecha, General Secretary of Swami Magazine Industrial Development Organization, SMIDO in short.
I am Sapomboati, SMIDO, the president, and then the Kaka Association Magazine, the chairman.
The Brenette Smido. The Pansa Smido.
Gladys Abankwa is my name. I'm at NAM, National Association of Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, Kumasi. I'm Janet Osesa Abodie, Regional President of NAM. I'm Josephine Tiwa, NAM.
I'm Victoria Asabari, NAM.
I'm Tahiru Mohammed, Magazine Mechanical Association, Vice Chairman.
Aisa Wati, General Secretary, Magazine Mechanical Association.
I am Engineer Peter Dubuahire, TVET CBT expert and the head of Industrial Mechanics Department, Kumasi Technical Institute.
Clement Sakon, SMIDO Welfare and Lands Committee Chairman.
Yav Sapon, a member of SMIDO.
Gail Menu, now.
Mame Efiasewa for the Ghana Cooperative Fashion Designers Association.
My name is Martha Joyce Arthur, Ghana Progressive Hairdressers and Beauticians Association, Kumasi. Dorothy Osei, Ghana Cooperative Fashion Association.
Good morning, my name is Jenny Adadi, CEO of iLearn Hospitality Training Center, Accra. Thank you.
I'm Holy Satanani, Gaba Hairdressers and Beautician Association, Ashanti Region.
Gladys Fudru, Kumasi Technical Institute, and head of Automotive Engineering Department.
I'm Lucy Ajaman, teacher at the Welding and Fabrication Department, Kumasi Technical Institute.
I am Albert Edusei, Principal, Cape Coast Technical Institute, representing APT, Association of Principals of Technical Institutions. Thank you.
And Amankra A, Ghana Cooperative. Thank you.
I'm Fokushaba, Ghana Cooperative Fashion Designers Association.
I'm Israel, Ghana Cooperative.
from Samuel Pinto, ISIS Ghana.
Ghana Progress and Hairdressers.
Despite your level.
Institute, a member of NetVet.
I am very close.
My name is Kwame Gary, and I'm an information technology trainer.
Principal for the Deputy Vice.
Sugwe, Principal, Presbyterian.
I'm Mercy.
Suhum Vocational Technical.
Oh, CDVTI Vocational Center.
I'm Patricia Nkrumah.
Takwa Community Development Vocational and Technical.
National Community Development Vocational and Technical Institute, Medina, Greater Accra, and then Zonal Coordinator, Greater Accra, NetVet. I'm Felicia Mamambodri from primary institution, NetVet.
I'm Emily Ikwasan, the manager for Canada Career Training Institute and a member of NetVet.
I'm Angelina Talata Kumkuri, Principal, Bolga WTI, member.
I'm Zulumi Yapos, Principal for Zonabwana CDBTI, Northern Region, and Coordinator for Northern Region, NetVet.
I'm Sophia Lisa, Principal for WA Community Development Vocational Technical Institute, and the Coordinator for WA NetVet.
I'm Safia Tsiri, Principal for Axim Community Development Vocational and Technical Institute, Western Region, and a member of NetVet.
My name is Erica Kwabo, a member of NetVet, Central Region. Thank you.
My name is Arita Grehamade. I'm National President for Private TVET Institution, Immediate Past National Treasurer for NetVet, and Director for Methodist Women's Training Center.
I am Jeanette Jakuma,
a member of TVET.
Thank you so much for your kind introduction. So now you know who is here. So let me explain to you. NetVet voters all over Ghana, they are here for this forum. And you know what? They just finished with their annual general meeting. So it's a very serious group. They are meeting every year to discuss issues on TVET, and that is where we want to get to. So in future, we want to be meeting like this from different TVET associations coming together as a federation so that we can talk about issues concerning ourselves. And then what also excited me was the other participants here who are not TVET related people, but they saw the banner and then they just jumped in. We are grateful. Let's give them. That we are getting interested. You know, we are becoming citizens of things that concerns us. As our president will say, we shouldn't be spectators. We know TVET is the way forward. And now we are happy with this development, that people are getting interested. Now, Nafti will say that we are going, we know we will get there. So we will get there, definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much. And then we also heard about the TVET Advocacy Committee. This is a committee of members who are all not TVET related people, but have come to understand that for our country to move on, for our country to develop, for our country to take a leapfrog in economic development, we need to take TVET seriously. And these are individuals that have come together to form the TVET Advocacy Committee. They want to partner with us, those of us who are in the TVET already. They want to, spearhead, the discussions, the dialogue, so that government will listen to us. We are very grateful to the TVET Advocacy Committee. They have come this morning so that they can support us to discuss issues concerning ourselves as TVET related people. Thank you so much. And now I have the honors, the simple duty to introduce our functionaries for the day. And on my immediate left, we have Mrs. Letitia Osafo Ado. Mrs. Letitia Osafo Ado is the board chairperson of the VTF, Vocational Training for Females program. And it is under her guidance and watch that this program, this project, this forum is being held in terms of funding, in terms of approval and all that. And then she's also the CEO of Samba Foods, the first SME to be listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. In fact, she's a veteran entrepreneur. Anytime I get to her office, I shout, "Hey, ma!" The sort of awards she has won for herself is a room full. Let's clap for this woman. In fact, she makes us all proud, and she is a role model for TVET in Ghana. And she is here to give us the welcome address. But before she does that, we want to go ahead and introduce our chairperson for the occasion. For some reasons, let me skip him so that I can introduce Dr. Turkson. Dr. Turkson, I'm sure most of us in this room who are into TVET know. He is an astute when it comes to TVET issues. A consultant who has international experiences in developing TVET structures and systems. He worked for many years in Botswana and other countries, and now he's back in Ghana to share his experiences with us so that Ghana TVET can move forward. And then we have him as the consultant for the day who is going to do the presentation on the issues to us. Dr. Turkson, you are welcome. And then our chairperson for the day must be known to most of us because he is a voice that is known on radio and TV. Good. People have been watching TV and they know him. And he is very much articulate when it comes to political economy issues. And he is the chairperson of the TVET Advocacy Committee. Do you know what marvels us about it? He is a political science lecturer, but now he wants to lead the advocacy for TVET. And he's also the director for the Youth Bread Foundation, working with youth and how we can get the youth involved in decision making. And we can say that he's also a passionate convert of TVET, as I've said already. And I can quote him in his own words. He says, "I have been lecturing on strategies for developing African countries for all these years, but it hasn't proved to work. So I believe that TVET will do the trick." Ladies and gentlemen, shall we welcome Professor Ransford Gyampo? Thank you, Prof. Madam Letitia Osafo will give us a welcome remarks so that we know officially we are welcome to this forum. Madam, thank you.
VTF advocacy team, leaders and executives of the different TVET associations, principals and teachers of TVET institutions, captains of industry, representatives of the trade association, board, management, staff, and friends of the VTF program, the media, ladies and gentlemen. I must say, I'm so delighted to have made it this morning. In fact, I missed my first flight, but because I was determined to come to this program, I just paid and took the next flight to Kumasi. I'm so grateful to the Lord God that I'm here. We have all gathered here this morning, and I want to welcome you all to this public forum on the team building a solid foundation for TVET in Ghana. We are grateful that you are able to make time to join us. The objectives, ladies and gentlemen, for our gathering is to create an environment for dialogue and articulate our concerns of TVET sector. We want to reflect on the status quo and suggest ways for building and maintaining a strong foundation for TVET in Ghana. Again, we want to strengthen the linkages among all the different TVET associations, both formal and informal. And then lastly, to increase our visibility as a strong force standing for change. Prof. Chair, it is true that the importance of technical and vocational education and training, TVET, cannot be overemphasized, and its role in the economic development has become more relevant than ever before. We acknowledge the current reforms going on in the TVET sector, but as stakeholders, we believe that there is still a lot more to do in order to allay the fears of the many interest bodies represented in this room. We desire a well-functioning TVET system that is able to address most of the challenges of our society today, such as unemployment, low productivity, low standards of products and services, environmental issues, upsurge of social vices, and etc., etc. This requires change, and change everywhere is precipitated. A renowned writer once said, "Life does not get better by chance, it only gets better through change." This is where advocacy is needed, and gatherings like this have made significant inputs in shaping policies. We deem it mutually beneficial that stakeholders could come together and make constructive criticisms of laid down strategies of what works well or not, and if this pace is kept, we are sure to influence systemic changes in the sector to make TVET responsive to our needs as a nation. Ladies and gentlemen, we all want to know a little bit about TVET. The director spoke something about TVET, but I will just highlight a few points. The TVET program over the past years had provided interventions to influence positive results of the system in terms of policy, training, infrastructure, equipment, management, instructor training, curriculum development, supporting employment of many graduates either for wage or self-employment. Now, in order to deepen its advocacy role and build more support of the issues at stake, the TVET advocacy team has been formed. This is made up of representatives of institutions and some individuals who have shown goodwill and utmost interest in making TVET a viable option for career development and springboard for our national development. The advocacy team has been very zealous and within a very short time have developed strategies that need to pay more attention to the sector. This public forum follows a media sensitization workshop that just ended. The Network of Technical and Vocational Education and Training Network, which is also an associate of the VTF program, ends its annual meeting today, and we find it necessary to dovetail this public forum and invite all other stakeholders in the sector so we could present a united front from the outcome of this engagement. Ladies and gentlemen, in appreciation, Prof. Chair, we would like to thank the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, under whose umbrella the VTF program, which was initiated, and for their goodwill. We are equally grateful to the international partners, Bread for the World in Germany, for their unflinching support, both technically and financially. We are so much grateful to the TVET advocacy team, who have availed themselves to champion the cause of the change in the TVET sector. The board of directors, management, and staff of VTF program deserves a commendation for the good work being done to uplift the image of TVET in Ghana. Finally, Ms. Prof. Chair, and to you all stakeholders, and particularly the participants, we want to say a big thank you for coming so that we could join force to move the sector forward. Above all, we thank the Almighty God for this day, and we pray that the outcome of today's discussions will make lasting impression on TVET and in Ghana.
Well, the chairperson gives us his response, and then we'll also set the ball rolling. So he MCs and then he chairs at the same time. Thank you, Prof. Your indulgence, please.
I've always said this, that in the struggle for independence, our leaders were so eager to kick the colonial master away so that we can govern ourselves. Nkrumah is reputed to have made the famous statement that we prefer independence with danger to servitude in tranquility. We got independence. Who had independence realized that we were not developed at all. There were so many issues affecting our development. There were so many factors, there were so many challenges that had undermined us as a new nation. So Nkrumah and co and other independent fighters who had been given independence decided to put in place several strategies for development. And like Linda said, there is actually a course that I teach, Strategies for African Development, at the University of Ghana, that looks at the various developmental options and strategies that have been implemented. We can talk about the first strategy being import substitution industrialization. It was implemented for a while. We moved away from that strategy because it wasn't working. It had so many challenges. Another strategy was introduced called the Structural Adjustment Program. It was also implemented for a while. It was not working. It was working elsewhere. It was not working, in many African countries. The countries that imposed that strategy on us felt that it was working amongst them, but amongst African countries that were poor, it was not yielding the desired benefits. So they said, if you want to develop, you may move away from strategies, from Structural Adjustment Program, and implement another strategy, which was actually a conditionality. They call it application of political conditionalities, i.e., democratize, and democracy will bring about development. So import substitution industrialization wasn't bringing the needed fruits. Structural Adjustment Program was actually making regimes unpopular because it operated under the principle of austerity. Let us tighten our belt, and regimes were becoming unpopular. Then it got to a time they said, well, regimes that were not successful with the implementation of the Structural Adjustment Program was as a result of the fact that they were not democracies. And so we should democratize also as a strategy for development. And that's why people like Jerry Rawlings had to step down as soldiers and to bring about democracy in 1992. Then from there, we went to another strategy called the Lagos Plan of Action. It didn't work. Another strategy was that let there be regional integration. OAU changed to AU. And all that, so that if we are united as a continent in Africa, we'll be able to develop. We've been talking about AU from time immemorial up to now. We are still not developing. Then we went to another strategy called HIPIC. We exited HIPIC, we are still where we are. There is another strategy called NEPAD, New Partnership for African Development. We implemented it. We are still where we are. Then there was this talk about reparation, as in some colonial masters came to take us slaves, took away our able-bodied men and women to go develop the Americas and Europe. And so they should, now that they are developed, they should bring us some of their monies and resources so that we can also develop. And we've been talking about it in the classroom. The people have said that even if they bring us the whole of America, we'll still not develop. because of the way and manner we do our things. Then we had the Sustainable Development Goals that have run for a long period of time and it terminated. We haven't developed. Now we have the we used to have the Millennium Development Goals that have terminated. We are where we are. Then now we have SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. We are still where we are. Our 1992 Constitution says that 2 years into the coming into force of every regime, the regime must prepare some national development blueprint that can be followed. So because of that, J. Kufuor, for instance, had the Ghana Growth Development, GP, what's the name? GPRS. It's the Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy. And then they moved from Ghana Poverty Reduction Strategy to another one, which is also Ghana Growth and something. So they had GPRS 1 and GPRS 2. Then Atta Mills came to office. Within 2 years, he prepared the Ghana Shared Growth and Development Agenda. Atta Mills was kicked out. He died. Mahama continued. Mahama was kicked out. And Nana Akufo-Addo is in power. Within 2 years, he also prepared his development blueprint. And we've been preparing all these development blueprints. We've been having all strategies for African development, but we can't develop. So at the end of that course, my number one question to the students, which they are supposed to answer as a compulsory question, is why are we not developed in spite of all these strategies for African development that have been put in place since independence up to now? Why? They give several reasons. They give their own. I encourage my students to think. And so I'm not expecting them to give me one fit-all answer, but let them think and proffer their explanations with respect to why we are not developed as a continent and as a country, in spite of all the strategies that we are putting in place. They give several reasons, but none until last year that me, myself, I discovered TVET. And so I told them, no, none of the students could tell me that we haven't been able to develop because of our neglected focus on TVET. Our research have shown that 80% of the kinds of activities and interventions that are done by countries that are developed today are found within the areas of technical, vocational education and training. 80%. So if you go to China, and America can at a point in time go to China to even borrow money. If China is developed, you go and you want to audit their educational system, and you see that their educational system is skewed to the point that 80% of whatever they are teaching and whatever they are doing are within the area of TVET. If you come to Ghana, close to 90% of whatever we are teaching, close to 90% of the caliber of people we are churning out like printing press every year through the educational system are trainings that produce scholars in the areas of the humanities. And that is what we are doing. So you ask yourself, what sort of upside down thinking continue to plague us as a nation? Is it that our leaders don't know? Is it that they know, but because we don't know, they want to fool us like they've always been doing? Is it that we ourselves, we also don't know, and so we cannot demand accountability? I don't know. But sometimes you think about the challenges confronting us as a people, and you feel like just giving up. Because it doesn't make sense. Why can't we get it? Is it that we are cursed? See, President Akufo-Addo is starting free SHS, free SHS, free SHS, free SHS. Nobody starting free TVET. And if you go and talk about it, say, well, sometimes TVET will be found, in some portions of the free SHS. It doesn't show seriousness. It doesn't. When I was schooling in the US, every Ghanaian that met me, please go and develop Ghana. Every Ghanaian who met me said, please go and help develop Ghana. It was the refrain. One night I was sleeping and I kept thinking about this. Then I said, but my president has been here before. The Minister of Education, he's been here before. All the people who matter in the policy makers, they've all been here before. Why are they not developing the country? Please, whether we develop or not, there is empirical evidence, as you will soon find out from the presentation that will come, to show that development of a country has more to do with emphasis and focus on TVET education than emphasis and focus on training people and producing them in the area of humanities. We have failed as a nation. And the earlier we appreciate and recognize the fact that we have failed, and to get our loins, and to demand that we all focus on TVET, the better for us. The days where those who are non-receptive to humanities training are seen as downtrodden and people who are born, and so we should send them to go and learn at the PAM and all. I think those days should be long gone. We should get brilliant students and say, go and study mechanics, go and be a mechanical engineer, go and pursue catering, go and pursue dressmaking. So I accept to chair this event. I am passionate about this. I didn't know, and so I wasn't talking about it. But over the years, I've seen that we spent a lot of time pouring water on stones, as if we are training, we are educating. The more we educate, the poorer we become, because we are educating and putting all our emphasis and focus on the direction that requires just about 5% of our concentration. So you are a graduate, so what? You have PhD, so what? We can't fix anything. We don't know anything. I also welcome you to this event, and I wish all of us fruitful forum discussions. Let us open up. We are not here because of any political party. We are here because of Ghana. And so let us have frank discussion. If it is necessary for us to call on government and policy makers to tell them that they have goofed, to tell them that they are majoring on very minor issues and that they should major on major issues as far as our education is concerned. If we have to tell them this in the face, let us do so with all our energy and strength, and let us from here go with a resolve that we'll be championing TVET. We'll be saying this over and over and over again until government directs or shifts its attention on TVET education. Thank you very much.
Takes an overview of the global TVET landscape, and then makes the case for why we should build a solid foundation. This presentation is going to be done by Engineer Dr. Stephen Turkson, who is a TVET consultant. So
The popular conception, I'm not sure what many years ago, and this point of view, the reason is because in one location and the type of schooling and working with the materials that we do, building engineers, and I'm not sure we could. It's that vocational, the education system want credit for continuing to put the key thing, and we've got to correct that.
So life is actually centered around TVET. But the painful thing is this. Even though our whole life is centered around TVET, you tell me that I am a failure, I did not make it, so I should go into TVET. But your life is centered around me. Are we okay? Your whole life is centered around me. But you said that people who go and do TVET are failures. Nkofo a omo no, omo akosko na omo passing no, na omo koye vocational technical. Na we a wo se wo brain na hye Let's think about it again. We need to change that perception. TVET is not for failures. It's not for non-achievers. I'm a TVET man. I started as a carpenter. I'm not a failure. I'm a smart guy. If I had wanted to do medicine, I could have done it because I'm smart. But I wanted to be a carpenter. That was the choice. That's what I wanted because my father was a carpenter and I wanted to inherit his tools. Okay? Because otherwise, there'll be, I mean, nobody will use the tools anyway. So I wanted to inherit it, so I became a carpenter. And I was proud to be a carpenter, and I'm proud to be a carpenter. Because carpenter has made me who I am. I'm rich because I'm a carpenter. I'm rich because I was a TVET advocate and TVET person. Any TVET person is supposed to be a rich person. Because you work with the hands. And you make money yourself, and you eat yourself and enjoy it. Prof, Chair, permission to now continue. Go ahead. Madam, good. So my topic is clear. Overview of the global TVET landscape and why we have to build that strong foundation. Let's see what somebody sharing with us. I've modified it. Originally, it's talking about education. But because we are talking about TVET, I decided to infuse TVET in it to make my presentation what I want to do. Let's look at it. The main hope of any nation lies in the proper technical and vocational education and training of its youth and young adults. Any nation, the presentation will make us understand it clear that let's think and think well, as Prof said. Let's do the first one. To identify and develop competencies and relevant to future skills to meet the needs of the India. What TVET is all about. Anytime we talk about technical, vocational education and training, we are addressing relevant future skills to meet the needs of the labor market. Relevant future skills. Ghana, like other countries, introduced competency-based training. 2006, government white paper. I was piloted 2007. If at that time I decide to make a baby, my baby will be 13 years, I think, by now. Isn't it? Roughly, mathematicians, 13 years. My baby very soon will be enjoying the free HSS. If I decide to make a baby, a pension baby. 13 years old, that we started this competency-based reform of our TVET. But as Prof said, where are we? Are we serious as a country? 13 years. Malaysia started their reform about 3 years before Ghana. Now Malaysia is producing tools and equipment and exporting them to Germany. Germany is now buying their tools and equipment from Malaysia. And Ghana, we are here, near the Bagri. Forgive me of my passion. You know, Jesus did the same thing. When he went to the church, the synagogue there, and they were selling there, he said, the passion, my father's house has consumed me. So when the passion consumes me, forgive me. I get so emotional. It is sad that we know the right thing to do, but we don't do it. Let's look at this big gap. Mismatch, misalignment, missing weak links, big gaps between TVET providers and industry. TVET providers are here. The academia with their semester, planning, academic board, they are making decisions, planning things, and the industry is here. They don't know what is happening in the industry, and they are doing their things, and they are not meeting the needs of the industry. What do we do? You know, the olden days, the catechism, is the catechism of the Sunday school. What do we say? There's a big gap between us and God. So what was the Sunday school teaching? Jesus came, there was a cross. So you see a big, mankind is here, God is here. And there's a big gap. Then they put a cross there. So what we do also know, we are not a beer, that what is happening now. Many people are claiming the impression they are doing CBT. And it saddens me that we don't know what we are doing and we say CBT, and I call it CBTRA. You know CBTRA? I know. Should have driven this country economic sound, should have driven this country national development, should have made this country like Malaysia supplying Germany with two-set equipment. By now, 13 years. 13 years. Advanced countries like Singapore, Malaysia, their rise in economic prominence was supported by the high-level TVET skills. High-level TVET skills. They were serious. World Bank, Prof said, estimates 80%. 80% of worldwide activities is TVET. 80%. No wonder. So 20% are the courses that are not TVET. So the more you focus on humanities, liberal studies, you are creating unemployment. By default, any country that your focus is on the liberal and humanities, you are creating unemployment. So it's the government policies that is creating unemployment. And we have to reverse it. Because the 20% ban is what we are training people for. And when you are training 20%, you are spending all your resources, every plan, 20%. You are creating them because the job doesn't exist. But the worldwide activities are in TVET. But the focus of the training is not there. Because we have labeled it for non-achievers, for failures. So why should we bother about them? And by default, we are creating unemployment. UNESCO Univoc, they are saying that countries have realized that TVET as a means of jumping into bank of globalization. This has reflected in their tremendous shift of employment from United States and Europe, India, and China, where they have such highly skilled workforce. By substantially investing in TVET, these countries have a major plank in their economic foundation. UNESCO Univoc. Economic foundation is building strong resources, strong ideas, strong policies to support the training in TVET. Demand for particular goods and services in the global and domestic economy translates into a demand for particular skills. As a country, God has blessed us with so many natural resources. We have to get skills to transfer them from natural resources to the humankind use. What is happening? It is sad to hear that now we are buying toothpick that is made of bamboo from Taiwan and China. When in the 60s, those of us who are as old as I am, we were making bamboo plates, bamboo cups, bamboo spoons, From Mansamenfi, on the way to Asankagwa, there was a bamboo factory there. What has happened to it? Divestiture. Now we are importing products made of bamboo from China, from India, from Taiwan. You go to Melcom. Things that we are buying, bamboo things, Melcom is supplying us and we are buying. People are changing our cities into dollars and they go and import bamboo products. When we have bamboos that are destroying our road, when I'm going to my wife's area at Mansamenfi, I have to put cutlass in my car. Because on the road, the bamboo will just cross the road. I remember when I was in school, in the primary schools, we were using this coconut to make doormats. Coconut, what do you call it? The husk, to make doormats. What has happened to it? Now we are importing the same coconut doormats from India and China, and we are selling them at Melcom. And now Ghanaians are eating a lot of coconut. So they waste on the road. I wish one day they can come and see me to come up with the idea of one district, one factory. You create a factory of transforming the coconut, what do you call it? Has into doormats, into useful use. TVET is there to equip 6 months, 3 months. You give them the skills, you give them the materials, and work goes on. Education is the key to development. Ministers, they have gone. The hand, but the heart is not there. So we can get a mechanic. See, it's no more there. Quantity, quality, TVET people drive every country, the success of every country. We have to make sure that the West itself come out from economic and downtown. It's countries that have put the skills on its workforce as a necessary tool in the TVET to drive the economy. If a country wants to make sure to make the country economically sound and strong, let's focus on TVET development. Manpower, basic resource, converted resource man can use. Research has shown that TVET has the potential of reducing unemployment because Germany, Japan, and Australia, they have 70% of their youth patronizing TVET. 70%. Prof said Ghana, roughly about 10% of our youth. Because the perception is that it's for failures. It's for non-achievers. Wow, bono. As a friend of mine, not my friend Professor Gyampo, another friend professor, I said that, why do you people say that TVET people are non-achievers, failures? But in life, when people save their monies and buy cars, and they have the problem, they come to the mechanic and say, Massa. That time their master mechanic problem about some the person that you could only on the master on solve problem. You save your money and you want to build a house. You don't have anywhere to go. Then be born and it's 9 years you also that amount. Does it make sense? And then when you are building a house and then you enter the house, the beauty of the house, the furniture, the wall, look at wonderful, look at this, just enjoy this place. Look at the TVET at play here. Look at the beauty of TVET here. Everything is TVET, the carpet, the ceiling, the lighting, the painting. And now look around yourself, the beautiful men and women around, your clothes, your hair. What are amazing? TVET is great. Let's be proud that we are part of TVET. Clap for yourselves. We are the TVET people. We should be proud. Go and have breakfast and come and ask me questions, because I want you to fill your tummy and come and engage me in serious questioning and serious discussion. So I'm going to show you some photos to relax you, and go and have so that you can, I want you to go and eat and fill the tummy and come and engage. I want to trigger a lot of issues that we go into serious discussion. Ask me questions, I also ask you questions, and then we agree on issues, and so that we can make Ghana work again. Let's look at the benefits, economic benefits, poverty alleviation, transition from knowledge and skill to workplace, technology transfer, attract investors, accelerated sustainable national development. Swami, you know the history of Swami? Eh? Anybody from Swami? You are here. Swami, the history of Swami. Majority of the Swami workers were from where? New Plan. True or false? No, majority. Because I'm told that when that's what I told if I'm lying, then the person who told me lied to me. I was told that when I think New Plan was not working, they have to resettle the workers, majority of them. So they have to get a place to reset. So if you go there, they have the skills from the New Plan. They could mold any part of the engine, part of the car, because the skills were developed at New Plan, and the transfer was given to them, technology transfer. And now go to Swami, and what is that you cannot do? Because it's about technology transfer. Any country that has a pool of TVET personnel, and the investors they come with their technology, and they transfer the tech. That's why China is great, because all the American companies that went to China, they went with their technology, and it's Chinese that you use. And when the Chinese get the skills, now they are making Infinix, Techno, Huawei, and they are now dominating. It's a technology transfer, and investors will come. Perception of TVET in Ghana. That's what we see. When we talk about technical vocation, and Ghana. I'm not smart. I will not give my work. I will not give my car to you. A mechanic that is dirty, sit in my car and make my car dirty. Me, a smart guy, I bring my car neat to you. The car leaves your workshop. Let's be smart. When they come and sit in your car, you wanted to, sometimes you want to run out because 3 days, like the dress is smelling, and they label us as a coffee. Let's change it. This is not TVET. That's a perception. Let's reverse it. Let's change it. Another perception of TVET in Ghana. TVET in Ghana. TVET in Botswana. This is Mr. Damte. I took them to Botswana to see what I did there. And this is Mr. Damte. This is Mr. MVTI. Now he's at Takrade. He was at Zanu. This is an auto shop in Botswana. This is an electrical shop in Botswana. This is a cosmetology, hairdressing shop in Botswana. I decided not to put India and China. I'm putting Africa. So I decided to import my photos from Botswana to put them. Now, radical transformation. Unless my school that I go, I don't understand the word radical. When in the whiteboard they say that radical transformation, TVET, and say to make it credible alternative to general education. 13 years. Radical and by. 13 years. Radical. Hey. And they said that because this council will establish. This council was established. And the council will use competency base. And the piloting has been done. and we are still marking time. Framework was designed at eight levels. Hey, nanya nsuande. Inti ya bofom na ya so no. Ya hwa de ma bofom. Inti enya nkwasafo. Sabio. Ebe o. Are we all fools that we cannot learn from our mistakes? That if lack of TVET teachers fail this reform, and we are in the 206 reform, and we still don't have evidence of any institution that is religiously training our people in CVT, are we, excuse me, are we not fools? Cortec, are they here? They are supposed to train our teachers. They have the mandate. How long does it take to train our teachers into CVT compliant? How long does it take? How long? How long does it take? Since 2007, I've been telling them, talking to them in forums, I've advocated for a reform at Cortec. They've got money, they've built resources, go there, they have wonderful structures. But it doesn't make teachers better teachers. Put them into use. Any program success, quality programs, quality learning experience, quality policies, quality administrative issues. Linking all makes a success in anything that we do. Finally, before I reserve the rest for after tea break, let's look at this quality program, quality training manuals and facilitating aids, well-motivated and dedicated facilitators, assessors, and verifiers. Strong support from trade associations and government. You have a role to play. Oh. Don't leave here and go and sleep. Trade association, professional bodies, you have a role to play in this reform. Strategic system approach, up-to-date education and training technology, close collaboration and collaboration between TVET institutions, business and industry, adequate resources, training hardware, facilities and equipment materials, well-trained and experienced facilitators, assessors, verifiers, and managers. This will sum up to have a high-quality TVET that will transform Ghana and make Ghana a better Ghana for all of us. So we are going to shake our hands in partnership. Go to the next to you and make this promise before we go for tea and come back. Madam, let's work together to change, to make you guys work in Ghana. So now we can go for. When I show the three will break.
Okay, so we take the photograph and then we take the smile and then come back and continue the questions and answers.